Welcome to the world's first Straight Talk Solarcast. This is your go-to podcast for answers about solar. Brought to you by Solar Harmonics in Northern California, who invite their customers to own their energy by purchasing a solar panel system for their home, business, or farm. Each episode, we discuss questions facing people making the decision to go solar. The solutions to your questions are given to you straight by one of the leading experts in the solar industry, Jamie Duran, president of Solar Harmonics. Feel free to search our library for answers to questions that you're facing when considering solar. And now, here's Adam Duran, our host with the questions, and Jamie Duran, our solar expert with Straight Talk Solarcast.
Hello, Jamie.
Hello, Adam.
How's everything in the land of solar this week?
It's, there's so much talk about how expensive electricity prices are and so much talk about government and all this stuff. And it seems, solar got totally trashed in 2025 and the first part of 2026. And, now people are seeming to loosen up. So things are moving in the right direction. And one huge development that happened this week is with a company that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I think this is a really innovative idea. And so I want to talk about that.
Oh,
I'm sure you're already aware, but
yes.
The company Sunrun, they have a new program that they're piloting right now where just the Sunrun customers, they want to install an AI computer node. So like a small server in a home that already has Sunrun solar and battery. And then what they would do is pay you for that processing power. So, we've been talking so many years about Bitcoin mining. So it's almost the same thing where if you have excess solar power and you have excess power in your battery, that excess power, rather than going to PG&E for pennies on the dollar, would essentially be used to provide electricity for this AI node, and it has a lot of potential. So I will give Sunrun at least, this is something. It's so many unknowns about how much would they pay, what about the heat, what about the the exhaust and if something breaks on it or all that kind of stuff. All of these questions are to be answered, but at least Sunrun is recognizing, oh my God, there's this huge AI. I just saw an article that said if even half of the AI data centers come online, they will use more power than the entire United States is using right now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So this is like a mini data center in your garage.
This is like, it's like a small, a computer, like a Bitcoin miner that's processing AI data. And instead of having it be, in a field somewhere, really it's inside your home. And so instead, like I said, it's better, the client would get more money basically for hosting this in their home, or maybe it goes outside. They're unclear, but they, like a Bitcoin miner, they do produce heat because it's a computer. And so, if it's going to heat up your home more during the summer, that's not a great thing. But say it's in the garage or in a shed or something like that. And then it has to have internet. And, if there's electricity upgrades that are needed because of this, all to be determined. But at least Sunrun's making, hey, we have all these, customers that are all over the country. We could essentially, I could just see why don't we just make AI inside of our network? So I think it's a really innovative idea. I think it's a really good idea. And it could potentially be a win all the way around. And it would just be nice if the AI data centers would actually pay people to go solar and pay every single person that they're affecting. I saw another article with in Oregon, actually, where data centers are using up so much power that the power company now has to not only increase prices to their industrial and commercial clients, but also to the residential clients. And it's going up upwards of 25%. So,
wow,
crazy times. So, but it just makes the argument that solar and AI together, like solar and harmonic, is,
Hmm.
could be an answer, because it appears that nobody wants an AI data center in their backyard, and data, and it's coming anyway, so they have to figure out where they're going to put these, and how it's going to work, and where they're going to get the power from. If they get it from the power company, or they get it from solar customers that have excess power. And it also solves the problem of data centers need a tremendous amount of substations and transmission lines and all these upgrades to the infrastructure. And those can take years. I've been working with utilities for a long, long time, and believe it or not, they don't do anything fast. And so, and the data centers need these transformers and substations to come online much faster than the utilities are able to do them. So it's going to be interesting for sure. And this program, if Sunrun's successful, would use the existing infrastructure. So they wouldn't require substation upgrades in most cases. If it's a really old neighborhood and they put in 50 of these AI nodes, it might need a transmission, a transformer upgrade in that area,
Sure.
those kind of things. But
It's devil in the details, right? For all this stuff.
Well, I think all of these details can be overcome. And so it's really, and I've been Bitcoin mining for quite a while now, and it would be doing great if the price of Bitcoin is doing great. But it's about half of what it was when I started. But it's still, it's still producing because I have excess solar power. And so it's pretty good. Sunrun hasn't disclosed how much they're going to be paying. How long is this contract? Is it 5 years that this AI node is going to be in there? And then, if you're, able to reduce your electricity use, and then the AI data node uses more power, or you're able to produce more, do you get a performance bonus? And then, instead of just getting an amount that you're getting, how about some ownership? And that'd be nice in the data center. So if all these data centers come online, they go public, and they're making $60 billion. Well, they wouldn't be around it, or they couldn't. It would be much more difficult if they didn't have these data nodes. So it might be time to ask for some ownership in these companies, and maybe Sunrun's planning on doing that. And if you do have a home battery, is it possible that the node would use the battery more? So would that decrease the length of time that this battery can be around? And so, who's going to be responsible for any upgrades or replacements that are in the future? And there's a considerable amount of heat. If you go in my garage right now, my Bitcoin miners are going, you are hit immediately with, oh my God, this is so hot in here. And it's probably a 10 degree easily difference, maybe 15. And it's that's quite a bit. And so if in an area, if you have hundreds of these AI nodes, and if they're outside, is that going to warm up the area even more? And, in the winter, it might be great because it's, less cool, but in any event, something to consider. The other thing is most Bitcoin miners sound like a jet engine. And so they are really loud. And so because the fans on them need to be spinning so fast, it's a tremendous amount of noise. Not so great for being inside. But yeah, it's something to consider with that. But we'll see how, what's going to happen there. And then, if the customer doesn't, if they have dial-up or something instead of high-speed internet, these AI nodes need constant internet connection. So it could affect that as well. And then, what if the AI node gets hacked because the customers, their internet security is not so good? It's possible like that. And then insurance, is it covered by the homeowner's insurance, or is it like a solar lease where it's to be determined, I'm sure. But it is pretty interesting, and it's a really innovative idea. And so I'm hoping that it's not just for Sunrun customers, or maybe the pilot is, and then it's available to other customers. And if not, then potentially could an AI company start buying, or at least working with solar companies to say, hey, here's our AI node. Here's the software that will manage, we didn't even talk about that, the software that manages when the solar panel system is producing excess power. Is that, and then what's the effect on the utility? It's going to be, hey, they get all this free power from solar, and then they pay pennies on the dollar for it. And so is that, what's going to happen there? But I don't think anyone's going to feel too bad about them. But it's pretty interesting, and I like the innovation. I always like when companies they see a massive problem, and instead of just saying, well, I don't know, somebody will figure. Well, this is actually something to consider. And you said there are a lot of details. Sure, lots of details to be worked out. But this could be something that is pretty big, because AI doesn't seem to be slowing down. It seems to be getting much more ubiquitous in our society, that people are using it for everything, and it's coming more and more. So, but where's the electricity going to come from? This could be a good solution. So, very exciting. We'll talk about it more as I hear more about the results of the pilot and see how it goes. But very exciting.
What if you didn't go with Sunrun?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is it'd be nice if there's other, it's probably going to need battery storage. But even if it wasn't battery storage, if I was an AI company, I'd be talking to every single solar company and say, hey, your hundreds or thousands of customers out there, could they benefit from this program? And and we want you to maintain it. And I would, no thanks, not interested in being a computer tech. But yeah, it would. That's a big thing too. So if Sunrun's willing to service these, or the AI company's willing to service them, then that's something as well. But could be,
they could pay you to do that.
They could, yeah.
Boy,
I don't want to. my AI node is not, the fan stopped working. I don't.
They could pay you to pay someone to take care of it.
I guess so. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Maybe the AI company can make a robot that can go and service it, like a drone that drops in by a parachute and then drops the robot to their home, and then the robot can pet the dog and everything. I can see it now.
Elon, get on it.
It's all solvable, but yeah, there's good progress, I would say.
Okay, excellent. Yep. We're going to wrap it up there.
Yep.
Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your week to hear a little bit more about solar. Every week there is something new going on in the land of solar. It is just amazing. Jamie's been doing this podcast for 8-9 years now, and every week he proves it to be true. If you have a question for Jamie, go to our Facebook page, Straight Talk Solarcast, and send us a message through there. If you'd like to check out a library of our past episodes, go to solarharmonics.com, click on the podcast link at the top of the page, and you'll be taken to that library, and it's searchable. If you would be so kind as to give us 5 stars wherever you got this podcast, we definitely would appreciate it. We know it takes some effort and some of your time, and it's so helpful because it does help grow the podcast and bring us new listeners week after week after week. Thank you very much. And lastly, if you have a friend who is considering going solar, this would be an excellent podcast to refer them to, because it will save them thousands upon thousands of dollars over the life of their system. What better friend is that? We always ask, and I don't know. Until next time, everyone. See you.
That's all for now. Thank you for listening to this episode of Straight Talk Solarcast with solar expert Jamie Duran. Join us each week for more answers to your solar questions. Speaking of questions, got some? Email us at solarcast@solarharmonics.com, and we'll be sure to give you an answer in an upcoming episode. This episode of Straight Talk Solarcast is brought to you by Solar Harmonics, the leading solar energy developer in Northern California, who invite you to own your energy. Visit them on the web at www.solarharmonics.com.